We're working a seller net problem and we need to figure out how much should the property be listed for in order to net the seller $60,000. Now, we have a couple of pieces of information in the problem that helps us out. First of all, we are given the fact that the seller needs to pay or will incur $500 of closing expenses. Well, we are also told the seller is going to get a refund for $500. Anytime you are working a seller net problem, you always want to add the expenses on top of the seller's net amount and deduct any refunds they may receive. Well, in this example, the seller has to pay $500 at closing, but they will also get $500 back. So those two just basically cross out, or we could just really remove them from the problem. We don't even have to worry about that. The commission rate is 6.5%. Now, on seller net problems, the easiest way to remember this is to always start with 100% and subtract the commission rate, 6.5%. When we subtract that, we end up with 93.5%. Now, I always like to convert my percentage to decimal, so I'm going to move that decimal point 2 places to the left, which will give me 9.935. Now, for a seller net problem, we want to then take $60,000 and we want to divide it by 0.935. That will give us our answer of $64,171.12. And for testing purposes, they normally, most of the time, will round up or down. If not, they will give you this exact answer as you see. So it's $64,171.12. Remember our formula, which is part divided by total or divided by the rate. Remember that? And you could have total or rate on any side. Anytime you have one of the top and one of the bottom, you would divide. Anytime you have both the bottoms, you would multiply. We're trying to figure out what should the property be listed for, the total amount. So therefore, we're going to divide our $60,000, the net, divided by the rate, 0.935, which again is $64,171.12. Now, one final thing I want to remind you. You can always go in the back door. So you're going to have 4 choices. Your first one was $63,900. Some of you may have taken $60,000 times 0.065 or 6.5%, and you came up with $3,900. You added that $3,900, and that gave you $63,900. However, if you turned around and worked this backwards, if you took 63,900 times 6.5%, you would have noticed you came up with a 4,000 and some change answer. When you subtract this commission from 63,900, it will not net the seller $60,000. So what I'm just trying to remind you is, if you can't figure these out, sometimes taking each specific answer and trying to walk through the back door is easier for some people, and you just keep trying these answers until you get one that says, hey, that works. When I figure it that way, it does come out to be $60,000. Of course, I would encourage you to double check your answer and take $64,171.12 times 0.065, see what that answer is, subtract it from this number, and you should get $60,000.